Any additional action taken tonight on conditional use permit requests will take effect 5 working days following this meeting unless a written appeal of the planning commission's decision is filed in the planning office by May 2nd at 5 p.m. In the event of an appeal, the decision will be referred to the county commission for a hearing on Tuesday, May 7th at or after 9 a.m. in this same room. Any final action taken on the rezoning request tonight will be referred to the county commission for a public hearing Tuesday, May 24th at 9:15. Meeting of the county commission are held in the same room. Once again, I'll reiterate Planning Director Anderson's request that you return your signs to the office and collect your $50 that you put down on those signs before you picked it up. So they're in desperate need of the sign. So, are there any objections from the Planning Commission members on any item on the consent agenda? Seeing none at this time, the Planning Commission will consider the consent agenda. The minutes from the March 28th meeting are included as a part of the consent agenda. Are there any? Okay, we've already had that. So next I'm going to read each item on the consent agenda. And if any member of the audience objects to the item or you would like to discuss any item on the consent agenda, please raise your hand and the item will be moved to the regular agenda to allow you to ask questions and submit comments to the Planning Commission later in the meeting. And please holler out if you want to move it, because I'll read them right along. Item number 1 is the approval of the minutes. Item 2 is a conditional use permit. Amending a CUP 1565 to exceed 1,200 square feet of accessory building. This is located at 25465 477th Avenue, approximately 5 miles west of Baltic. Item number 3, conditional use permit to transfer 3 eligibilities. This is petitioners Gary Winterton. Location is 24789 484th Avenue, approximately 3 miles west of Sherman. And we go to item 4. Conditional use permit 1618 to exceed 1,200 square feet of accessory building, requesting 6,900 square feet. Petitioners Thomas Hurd. Location is 26748 481st Avenue, approximately 2 miles east of Sioux Falls. Okay, conditional use permit number 5 to allow, number 1619 to allow bed and breakfast. This is for Mike and Jana Miles at 547 258th Street, approximately a half a mile west of Humboldt. Item number 6, conditional use permit number 1620 to allow storage units on property approximately 1.5 miles west of Crook. This is Tim Teehart at 25763 472nd Avenue. Anyone on that one? Okay, number 7, conditional use permit 1621 to allow greenhouse with retail sales of products. And this is Judith Wirtz. Located at 47738 250th Street, approximately 3 miles east of Baltic. Okay, item number 8, agricultural tourism permit 16-02 to allow winery. Petitioner is Robert Meyer. It's at 25219 485th Avenue, approximately a half a mile north of Garrettson. Condition number 9, item number 9, conditional use permit 1622 to allow public utility facility communications on the property which we had discussed earlier from Alliance Communications. That's approximately a half mile north of Brandon. Anyone on that one? Okay. Item number 10, conditional use permit 1623 to allow public utility facility communications, and this would be also of the Alliance Communications. This is approximately, that's a different distance, it's a quarter mile east of Brandon. Okay, anyone on that one? Okay, item number 11, conditional use permit 1624 to allow public utility facility communications on additional property. This is the Alliance Communications, the owner is Roger Nakamas, approximately 2 miles west of Brandon. That's the one we were dealing with earlier. Okay, item number 12, conditional use permit, allow public utility facilities. This is a raw water well and pump house. This is from the city of Brandon. It's adjacent to the southeast side of the city of Brandon. So that was, and then we have one regular agenda item. So that is the conditional use consent agenda. Okay, so any questions or comments for staff? Otherwise, we will call for action.
I move acceptance of the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Okay, to approve the consent agenda, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to make sure everybody knows what had just happened?
I will just.
Okay.
We got it. Okay, so your item was number 2 through 11 and 12. Your item has been approved and you are free to go. We just need the people for item number 11, 13 to stay. Thank you. Thank you for your patience and please return your sign.
But if you want to stay, you can.
Yes.
We're whittling them down.
We're down to one old business and new business. Okay. Mr. Hookman, go ahead.
All right, Kevin Hookman, County Planning Department. This is rezoning 16-02 to rezone the east 464 feet of the property legally described as, it's near Rowena. This is the second time this item has, actually it would be the third time that this property has been in front of us. The first time it was continued for not notifying. The second time it was continued in order for the property owner and neighbors to meet together and discuss solutions to what they would consider make things work. And that was at the March 28th meeting. I have spoken to Commissioner Jason Klein. They have come up with a plan, and I will kind of briefly touch upon it, and we'll see them come up and discuss what their solution is. But they would like to propose to rezone exactly what they have here, minus the south 15 feet of the property. And that 15 feet would be a way to transfer or to place a building eligibility and get that building eligibility to the neighbors to the south location as part of their agreement to move forward. In order to do this, we will make a motion with the intent to rezone all but the south 15 feet, but as we do not have a true meets and bounds description of it yet, we will work with the petitioner to get an actual meets and bounds description of that particular property before advertising it for the hearing with the county commission. And with that, if you have any other questions for me, we can turn it over to them.
Could you explain that transfer of the eligibility part again there? Who's getting an eligibility? The people to the south?
Yes.
Okay, and then we're creating a new lot that's 15 feet.
So the rezoning right now would rezone just everything that we described except for the 15 feet. So that at this point there'd be no lot change. In order to work the eligibility, there would have to be a new plat on the south side, neighbor side, that extends 15 feet further north than their current property.
Sometimes we create funny little lots that nobody pays the taxes on.
But doesn't that have to be an acre?
Yes, they has to be 1 acre in size.
Doesn't matter how wide it is.
And it has to be
I'm sure they're going to move the eligibility onto theirs.
It has to be 125 feet of street frontage. So they will have to comply with that when they.
So the other way you could look at this is this lot right here, the DeWitt's lot, if I can get this thing down
Here we
here.
go.
the DeWitt's lot is 10 acres.
Yeah,
So they're basically gonna take this lot, one option they have is to increase the size of this lot by adding on 15 feet of the adjacent lot and making a larger lot, which would have 2 building eligibilities.
I just know that tomorrow in my regular county commission meeting, we're conveying to a neighbor a lot that's 2 feet wide and 102 feet long.
We wouldn't allow them.
They quit paying taxes on it. It's
We would-
perfect for a bicycle town.
Yeah, we wouldn't allow them to create a 15-foot wide lot, because.
Okay. We just get these little drainage lots and stuff like that.
So there's really no action for us tonight on this?
No, you would have to take an action. It's, the way that I understand it is we'll take action and say we'll rezone the, as requested minus the 15 feet, the south 15 feet. And then, as I described, we'll have to work with them to get the proper legal description for the notification.
Okay.
Is
Answer
the
everybody's
neighbor-
questions?
Is the neighbor okay with that?
Yeah, I'm Darrell DeWitt, and we talked about it, and the reason for the 15 feet is we really had a concern that it would be people putting their stuff right up against our
We
tree.
heard it, we heard that
Okay.
story. I make a motion to approve this step forward here.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning request before us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, we have any old business?
Not really. Tomorrow is the hearing on that Cedar Ridge plan development north of town, tomorrow, at County Board tomorrow.
Okay. And, when did you go to those big signs?
The law changed
In July.
July 1st of last year. So we used to have paper signs, but there was a legislator in Pierre that was upset that it wasn't good visibility, so they increased the size to like this. But the problem with that is you can't use a paper sign out in the county that's this big because it'll flop over. It just gets ruined. So we ended up buying aluminum signs that have the wording and the coloring on them, and they have holes drilled in them. But they cost us about $35 each to have made at the penitentiary. So we collect $50 from the applicant, and when they bring our sign back, they get their $50 back.
But they never bring it back, do they?
Well, they bring it. Well, they don't, and we've had them already shot up, gunshots, and we have not returned their money because it's basically ruined. Yeah, shotgun blasts.
Anything else?
I have a thought. What does it cost us to mail these out to folks? I get mine here at the office, so there's no postage on mine.
We think about emailing them out?
I was thinking that we'd use something at the county commission called Dropbox. And so the documents are put in there, and it's just on my desktop. I click on that, and I can look at all the documents. And we don't kill a tree every week.
Well, we have started putting the staff reports online for each current agenda.
Do we all have internet hookup?
Would there be hard copies here then for us to use during
Well,
the
and then when we
meeting?
come to the meetings, we have an agenda, but then all of our documents are on the iPad that we can scroll down, or else we follow on the screen as the stuff is presented by staff. And
But
the
if-
iPad stays here in the office, they just bring it up, hook it up to us. It's just a thought, but again, it's a lot of paper.
I kind of like going out to the site and actually having the paper that I can really
Yeah.
visualize.
I totally agree. I went out to the site of the dish place, but I just write it down, or you can print it off the Dropbox stuff.
Ken, that's a lot of printing that you're going to make.
Only if you want the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, There's a couple
If we were to do the
pages.
summary or the staff recommendation or something to that.
I wonder if the Dropbox thing, we could just start using it and see if it's user-friendly enough for people that.
Well, I can explore it with Monty at the IT office, what would all be involved.
Doesn't mean we have to go to it, it's just, would be an accessory plan.
I like this too. I like hard copy, so I can see exactly what I gotta see, and I'm a visual kind of person, so when I read it, I gotta know it. I mean, I do that with my business all the time.
But-
I'm not good with the internet. I mean, I have the internet, don't get me wrong, but I sit at a computer 7 days a week, sometimes 10 to 12 hours a day, and I like the hard copy. That's just,
I teach on the internet, I like a hard copy.
I'm also going to be working with the IT department, and hopefully the first of the year, you will each have a county email address that you will be put on the website, so you will not be getting any kind of emails at home. There's some legal issues with you receiving information on personal emails. So we want to avoid that, and so we will then maintain that email address for you. You'll be able to access it, but I'm looking into that because legally, if you have an ex parte communication and you get sued, they can come take your computer or laptop out of your house, and we don't want that. So
that would include emails where we all are bouncing them off each other.
it would all be on the server. And so if there was a court case and someone subpoenaed the record, we would easily be able to provide that for them.
If we had already agreed on some of these things by email in advance, that would be illegal.
It would be, but and that's something that we could easily prove then.
Yeah.
Because we'd have the record for it. So I think we'll be working on that, and I'll sort of see how that's going to fall together. But I talked to Sarah Show about it, and she agreed that we probably should be. You shouldn't be using your own email if you get emailed questions, and it's also a good way that we'll have it on the website. If someone wants to contact you and ask you a question, they don't have to phone you. It's a way for them to get a hold of you. I don't have anything else.
Okay. Anybody else? Otherwise, we're called for adjournment.
I do have a question, I probably should have. So have we ever allowed people to build their garage and live above the garage while they are building their house?
Yes, we have.
That's
But then what happens is once they build their house, then they have to modify their garage back to, let's say, a hobby room or a craft studio or something. They have to make it not a second dwelling unit.
If it's actually in the garage, but if it were an upstairs, I don't want to use the word apartment because that implies that it's an
A loft. You could use it for like a craft room. I mean,
And
you
if it
could,
was an attached garage, it wouldn't be a problem.
Right,
as
that's
long as
what
it
I
have a
mean.
kitchen in it. I mean, it can't have a full-blown kitchen and call it in that.
Why are we putting Grandma and Grandpa upstairs
That's what I
anyway?
thought.
I
too.
did think that too, because if they can't walk the stairs,
I've got-
this isn't gonna work.
I
I've
thought
got
that
10
too.
brothers and sisters, and Grandma and Grandpa are coming too.
Yeah, the stairs move.
That septic tank is gonna be
Monstrous.
busy.
I just wanted clarification if we had done that.
We can work with them.
It's a very common request, I'd say,
Yeah.
though.
Don't you
And
get
we
like,
probably get a request like this once a month.
But it's no problem to have a full-blown bathroom.
It could be a bedroom.
Yeah, you could have a bathroom.
Okay.
You could have an office with a bathroom.
Share the same septic tank.
Yeah, you could do that. We have a lot of garages that have
For
bathrooms in
11
them.
people, Grandma and Grandpa, and Mom and Dad, and their grandchildren, wow.
So full kitchen is kind of what puts over the edge.
You're gonna need several kitchens.
It's the full kitchen that turns it into a dwelling
But
unit.
but if it's like more of a quote bar with a sink, I'm just,
A theater room, I mean, they have
Wet
like a
bars.
wet bar, mini bar, or fridge, wet bar,
microwave.
microwave. It's the stove that, once you get a stove in it, then it becomes more of a dwelling unit.
So I lived in a place where they had a full-size house, a breezeway, and then a summer kitchen, where they did all the cooking back in the day in a separate, so it didn't heat up the house. Is that legal?
Yeah, it would be fine.
Because there's not a dwelling unit
It's not a
in
dwelling
that
unit.
second
Yeah.
area.
But Kevin's right, we get a lot of these, and if we'll start allowing them, we can, there is we could provide a mechanism other than a variance. I mean, you can,
Can I live in my RV while I build the house?
no, an RV is not a dwelling unit.
I'm just there for 2 years until I'm done building it.
Till the thing
Just
catches
2
on,
years.
till the thing catches on fire. I had that happen in
Yeah.
Rapid City. Someone died, and then they were up in
It's not very
arms.
funny.
So I have one more thing, Scott. Is it true that the Attorney General is prosecuting a Pennington County commissioner for failing to get a permit for his septic system?
Septic, yeah, George Farabee.
And he's being prosecuted by the Attorney General?
I don't know about the Attorney General, but they're doing enforcement on him.
It was like a $25 permit, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but
However, he's
For-
previously exchanged gunfire with his neighbors.
For a house.
for his own
For his
house.
own house. He doesn't think he should have to, because it says in the Constitution and the Second Amendment that the government can't
Well, I
prevent you
assume,
from.
I assume our septic system was grandfathered in sometime, a long time ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I just,
Well, that
hopefully it
fellow
keeps
is a little
working.
On the edge, do you know?
Does Kevin have some pictures?
I just have some pictures of our, the conference in Arizona, and this is from the conference center. You can see Chase Field in the background and where the Suns play there. This is our,
Don't show pictures of us
this
partying.
is our party. Social.
Never show those at work.
But we get 4,000 planners partying in one place. It's kind of interesting.
Where do the planning commissioners go on these
I
things?
met a winemaker in Arizona who has ties to winemaking in South Dakota when I was down there. So he says his mom still is here and drinks the wine from Garrettson as it goes up there and buys wine. So yeah, but there's cool sculpture, I guess. And then agritainment. I went to they call it agritainment instead of agritourism. Which might be a better term for it because and they really do have like rides and trains and concerts and all kinds of things. And they're competing with, this farm here has 300 acres, and they said that they were competing against $100,000 an acre land. And this is 40 miles outside of Phoenix, and this is irrigated land. Yeah. So they were just saying that if you don't work with us on kind of loosening some of the restrictions, there's no reason why we should stay here. We could just sell the whole place and be good for life, but it's the principle of keeping the entertainment. And then I was just wandering through the desert there, there was a trail. So, that was
What
it.
insights do you have for us?
Well, I attended several ethics and like keeping the planning commission out of hot water and county commission. And that was one of we talked about a lot of ethics and ex parte communication. That's why I've talked to Sarah about making sure that we legally keep ourselves okay. You went to some really good sign expo because we're going to be amending our signage.
Yeah, I went to a really good conference about the signs and figuring out what does it mean to be on its face describing that it's I can't think of the term right now, that it can't be, you can't read it to determine what it says. Otherwise it's against the Constitution because it's against free speech. So any sign regulation has to be basically size and location only.
So no matter where, they can put up the sign that says live nude dancing or whatever?
As long as it meets the size
The
and
size.
the size of the sign, the location,
Content neutral.
it has to be content neutral. Yep.
Oh, no.
And I think
And my update, before next time we meet again, I've applied to take the American Institute of Certified Planner exam, which is the only certification nationwide. You have to have 3 years experience. I went to an accredited university for urban planning, a bachelor undergraduate degree, so I skipped ahead 3 years. If it wasn't accredited, then you'd have to go 4 years experience working of professional experience. So
So when will you do that then?
May 21st,
Good luck.
4 weeks.
Good luck.
And David's also been attending the Highway 42 corridor study. You had a meeting last week with DOT and City of Sioux Falls. That's from TLS Road to the McCook County line, or is that how?
Yeah, it's from TLS Road to the McCook County line. Not much I can say, but
They're still working on it.
it's interesting.
They've had an open house. You had a couple of them.
And they got one coming up
Yeah.
June, July, around that time.
There was one other thing, the pictography,
Oh, the pictometry.
pictometry.
We met with the city today. City, there's about 30 of us there, and we'll be discussing it a little bit tomorrow at the joint city-county meeting. Oh yeah, that's right, the fireworks stand. The kid appealed the fireworks stand. That's going tomorrow to the joint city-county item. Tomorrow night. We're working with the city, Lincoln County, the CCOG, looking at our pictometry. We were sort of informed about a month or 6 weeks ago the city was going to do their own RFP, and I reported back to the county commission last Tuesday, and that got a lot of excitement going on. So we're looking into
The city was our partner in doing the photography, and then now they changed their mind, and they want to instead survey the city not for the permeability of the soil or the driveways or the roofs. They want to see what water will sink into it and what water will run off of. But they also want to take pictures with some foliage on the trees because it looks better for people that try to get to come to town. However, it doesn't help us when we're trying to do your tax assessment and see that you built a swimming pool in the backyard without a permit or whatever it is. That's why we need it. And obviously we collect taxes for the city. And you know, with the stuff we have now, they take it on an angle, and so you can actually see like where the entrances are to a building, which could come in handy for law enforcement or something, or the fire department. And also for like the highway department, right, Scott? I mean,
The highway uses it a lot too.
They can see the slope of the ground, whatever. But the city would rather have pretty pictures of leaves, but some kind of radar image of where the water can soak in and where it'll run off. But they just told us, they never discussed it.
Jeff, give us a report. You've got 2 openings at county commission.
Yes.
How many people are running?
5.
That's what I thought.
We have 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats.
The 3 Republicans are Kelly Bender and
Dean Karski, who's on the Sioux Falls City Council.
who are the Democrats?
Mark Feinstein, former state representative, and Kurt Rust, who was on the Sioux Falls City Council 20 years ago. Dean Karski's been coming to all of the meetings. I mean, he leaves early, but he's there for quite a few things. He takes notes. He sits behind the podium so the camera gets him.
Make sure you're on TV.
Who's the lady who knits?
What's that?
Who's the lady who knits all the time?
That's Connie Mogan. She doesn't come so often these days, but she's got nothing else to do. So,
Watching county commission meetings, you haven't got a lot to do either.
Here, so I've been here.
Oh, God.
I think she's buried 3 husbands, so
Oh, really?
she might be currently single.
I think we already got